Hello, Flosstube. Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches here with my update number 424. Today is Saturday, February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. And it's also apparently um, Arizona's anniversary of being accepted into the Union um, many moons ago. I have the Arizona statehood series pattern. I've done Arkansas and Indiana, which are the two states I lived in. I went to school in Indiana and I lived in Arkansas for 25 years. But I also have the Arizona and New Mexico patterns for it's a thread milk statehood splendor series, something like that. But I have those two states because those are the other two states I lived in. I grew up in New Mexico and I live in Arizona now. But anyway, so apparently today is Arizona's anniversary date. So, yay, happy birthday, Arizona. Um, but today is Valentine's Day for those of you who who celebrated it. Happy Valentine's Day. When I was pretty active in the singles group, and when I lived in Little Rock, and one of the things we would say at church in the singles class, some of us would say, February 14th is just another day. It's, you know. But anyway, so I'm wearing a red T-shirt in honor of Valentine's Day. I actually thought for a long time. I don't wear much red at all. I have I have a lot of clothes in storage, a lot of my winter clothes, because at the time we were sort of, trying to pack up the house to declutter it for showing. I put a lot of my clothes in storage, a lot of my winter clothes, because it was summertime when we were, boxing things up, and I was thinking, oh, we'll probably sell the house pretty soon. And it was like, I don't know, August or something when we were packing everything up, and we didn't sell the house for another year. So I suffered through, last winter with no warm clothes really to speak of, no sweats, no sweatshirts, no, long sleeve clothes, whatever. I don't even have my jeans. I have like at least one pair of jeans that is in storage because I was thinking, oh, I don't need that. Yeah, it's still in storage, and still it's I'm still suffering through the coolish weather. It's not cold by Eastern or Northern standards, but it's cold here. 40 degrees is still 40 degrees. For the winter or the early morning, whatever. It was for a while getting up into the low 80s, and then we had a little bit of a cold snap the last few days. It's been like um, in the 50s and 60s. So it's still, it's coolish compared to what it was. but but anyway, but I was thinking I had like a couple of red shirts for like Christmas ish kind of stuff, and I know one of them I think I still have is in storage, and I had like one or two. I had like a red T-shirt or something and things like that. Um, so I have a few more red things, but right now nothing's clean. But I thought, I wonder if I have a red T-shirt. I have some um, Arkansas Symphony shirts because we always had a T-shirt every year for when we did Beethoven blue jeans. We would wear jeans and they would make special T-shirts for it. So this is an ASO shirt, and on the back it has the Beethoven blue jeans logo thing on it. But I thought, I wonder if I have it written. So I looked in my ASO shirts that I haven't worn for in ages, um, but that because I had recently in the last like year or so I've been losing weight with I've been taking Monjaro. So, but anyway, so I've been looking through these old ASO shirts, and I thought, yeah, I had a red one in there. What do you know? So yeah, there's my Valentine shirt. Anyway, Um, so today is Valentine's Day. So I've been working on my WIPGO stuff, um, and I have some new things. I'm anticipating Nashville Needlework Market. Many of you might be as well, but so I'll get to some of that. I don't have, I don't have right now pictures of what I'm buying, but if you go and look in your uh, favorite websites, like Liddy Stitches has done several, Top Knot Stitcher has some, and I'm sure all the online vendors, have stuff, that for you can pre-order for Nashville. Anyway, I'll get to that in a second. But so last week I was working on Winter Woods Biscornu. This is one of my WIPGO calls. This is by the Blue Flower, and so like I said, I had just, as I said last week, I had discovered several errors as I was doing the framing stitch around the border. Um, there's this stitch, and then there's another separate border back stitch that you use to stitch the front and back together. But so I've been working on this border stitching, and I had gotten down here, and I realized that oh wait, yeah, that there was a mistake in this branch part, because it didn't hit the corner the way it was supposed to. Um, it didn't come all the way down there. So I had added a stitch here, and that's why I made the bird with the crooked legs. It's supposed to have straight legs like this bird up here, um, but I had to, I wanted to put it like up against this branch where it's supposed to be, and that meant that its legs were not right. So anyway, it's a long. So that's why this bird has crooked legs. So I did this owl here this past week, and I added a stitch here because its legs also did not reach the border because there was an error in this branch as well. Um, so yeah. So because of that, I'm having to like make little adjustments everywhere. Like this fox down here, I did some more stitching on it. I think last week I had not done like all the white stitching, you know, and I had not done all the colors in it. So um, he's still missing his legs. And when I do his legs, I'll have to add you know, a row to each leg to make them hit this border the way they're supposed to, because he's one stitch too high. And the reason is that I wanted to because he has to fit in with this branch here, um, and so that puts him again one stitch too high. So I'm having to make little adjustments in everything as I go along, and I don't know yet um, if there will be stitch adjustments over here. This is an ermine, I think, is what this animal turns out to be. Um, but anyway, so that is 7 days worth of the winter woods Biscornu. Actually, 8 days. I think I went one more day so I could, get some more done on the fox. But so yeah, I may get back to that. I don't know. Probably not. Not necessarily this month. But there's that. And then my other WIPCO call that I'm working on this week, and I've been kind of like yesterday. I had a lot of time to work on it, and I just didn't. I just kind of goofed around on my phone and wasted time, as my mother would say. You a time waster. Anyway, the Barn Owl by Cottage Garden Samplings. This is part of their first first series, Year of the Wood series. This is number 8. So I talked about last week. I had done about half of the face. I had done the gray around his beak. I think, yeah, I think I had done the gray around his beak, but not the other like half of his face. I'd only done one half of it, and I had not done the white around the neck here, and these little sort of lattice. There's gray and orange, cross sections, whatever. I think I had done the black little dots basically. And on the body here, I had done the outline of the owl, and I had done the sort of what I call lattice work, the brown delineation of all the feathers. And I had done the blue feathers and a couple of the blue stripes across his body, but not all of them. And I had not done the white. I think I had done like some of it here in the middle, but not like this white line here and the white line down here. So anyway, so I had done some preliminary work on the owl, but not all of it, obviously. And so this week I've been working on the owl, and I finished his face and his neck and the white on his body, the white stitching here. So I have all of this that's open is just orange fill-in. This it's a Weeks Dye Works Carrot is what it's called. So I'm actually almost out of that skein. It calls, like on the instructions, it says, you know, if you're stitching like over 20, 2 threads over 28 count or whatever, or larger, it takes at least 2 skeins. And so probably, I don't know if the skein I have like 6, 7, 8 like individual strands left. And so I'm stitching 2 over 2. So I think probably I'll get to the, you know, finishing it. And there's one his foot is out here. One foot is out here and stitched in orange also. So I think I'll probably have enough of this carrot to finish it without having to break in. I have a second skein, but you know I probably won't need it. But you know, we'll see. But I have it if I need it. So all that's left here is all this orange of the feathers to fill in, and then along this branch, I think it's just the black on this that's missing for the branch, and then of course his leg here, and then the leaves on the branch. I had done at least some of the one shade of green. There's a couple of sections that are blue, but I think I've done all the blue. So all that's left is the one shade of green, and then and there's a second shade of green that I haven't done any of the stitches of that yet. So I have to look and see, you know, which ones I've done, which ones I haven't done. But all of this that's missing down here is black, I think, because I think I've done all the other colors. The brown, there's an off yellowish color, and then white. I've done all of those colors, and of course the cabin I did a while ago. So I may be able, if I, you know, the 7 days I will hit on Sunday tomorrow, and then I have, oops, my needle minder. I have the rest of the month of February. I have my 2 new starts, but again, they don't have. I don't have any specific goals for those, so I just have to start them. One of them is my one of my diamond paintings. So I'm gonna see. I'm still a little trepidatious. Oh, my. Hold on 1 second. I have a coaster on my. So I have a soda right here, and the coaster stuck to the bottom of my soda and fell to the floor. Oh, sorry. What was I saying? So I have my 2 new starts. I have one cross stitch new start, and then the diamond painting new start. But you know, I have 2 weeks, the latter half of February, to finish working on those, to work on those a little bit, and to finish the barn owl. So I think I can finish the barn owl this month easily. So, speaking of my new start, so one of my new starts, besides the diamond painting, I haven't pulled that out yet, but one of my new starts is Quilted Poinsettias by Heartstring Samplery. this is a small little ornament. Small little. I always think about when people say that. I always think that's if it's small, it's little. If it's little, it's small. So you don't have to say both words. But I, anyway, this is 49 by 49 size. This little poinsettia. It's an ornament. Um, so yeah, this is my new start, and I might be able to just do a start and finish, depending on how difficult it is. I don't know. I haven't looked at it I haven't looked carefully at it yet. But so the model is stitched on white. Um, I think it's called Spindrift is the color. Um, but it has fairly traditional colors. There's a dark pinkish and a light pink and a couple of shades of green to it. I think it's, I want to say, I think it's all DMC. I think this is the one I was looking at. Oh no, this is, yeah, these are, what do you call it? Cossack Colorworks and Week Style Works colors. Yeah. Um, so, so I haven't done like a floss toss yet to see if, what the colors look like. But I'm probably not going to stitch it on white. But uh, Vicky Campbell, our friend from school, sent my sisters and I a bunch of stuff, and amongst the things she sent was a couple of grab bags of linen from Bestitch Me, and so they're smaller cuts of fabric, but I have all these different colors to choose from. These are I have a bunch of other colors, but these I pulled out because they're neutrals basically, and they're light colored, and so I want to do a floss toss with those threads to see what what looks best on these colors. So like this is a very sort of very I would say a vibrant blue. It's more like a robin's egg blue on this one. This one is a little bit lighter. It's hard to see with the light coming in here, but it's a lighter blue, and this is an even paler blue, lighter blue than that. It's almost green. It has a little hint of green to it. And then there's this, which is it looks kind of gray on the camera, but it's more like it's kind of like a brownish rose color. And then this is an actual beige, a light beige, and this is an even lighter off-white kind of color. So any one of those would work. And I went to the attic yesterday and bought a few things I didn't need, a few things I did need, and a few things I didn't need. But this piece of fabric, this is by I don't know who it's by, but it's called Smoke Signal. This particular color, and it's a nice beige, medium beige color, brown color. Um, but so this is another possibility. Just because it's a set of a neutral color. I probably will not use this. I'll probably use one of the blues perhaps. Like I said, it just depends on what looks best. The flosses. So hold on a second. My phone. I didn't silence my phone. Let me go ahead and do that before I forget here. Um, but so, like I said, the other thing I will probably use one of those fabrics for is I have a couple of patterns. I think I had talked about before how I have a Barbara Anna patriotic pattern for the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Um, so I have that pattern, but it's kind of large and kind of complicated. And then I have this one, which is one of the ones that one of the things that Vicky sent. This is called Sam and Liberty. This is by Stitching with the Housewives. So Liberty is it's a little chicken here in this cup. This is the A Sip of the Seasons series that they did. So there's this. And so, like, this is stitched on kind of a beige color. Let me see if it says Monaco tea coffee dyed following their YouTube tutorial. So they dyed this. So it's kind of a beigeish color. Again, I might do a floss toss with these colors as well to see how they look on any one of those fabrics to finish it. The model was stitched on 28 count, and all of those are mostly, I think, 32 count. Some of even when we took all those fabrics out, they were basically in two grab bags. They're like even weave and Ada, and so we went through and sort of with our measured the stitch count as best we could. So most of them are the Adas are mostly 14. I think there were one or two that were like 16 or something like that. And the other ones are, all the even weaves are generally 32, maybe 28 in a couple of cases, but generally like basically 32. There might be a couple that are higher count, like 40 or something like that. We're not, it's hard to tell. But anyway, that's what, they weren't labeled because they were just like, like I said, the sort of odd cuts and in these grab bags. So they're smaller cuts generally, but anyway, another thing I saw at the attic, and I just decided I wanted to have it. This is by Sweet Wing Studio, and this is called Stand Firm, a tribute to Abraham Lincoln. And his birthday was the 12th. So, tomorrow, Monday, this coming Monday is President's Day. This pattern for Abraham Lincoln, it has the quote says, "Be sure you put your feet in the right place, then stand firm." And so there's a bunch of little motifs there. There's an axe, and there's a log cabin. There's an eagle. There's a oil lamp. There's a flag. There's a top hat. There's the $5 bill. And there's a penny and the Lincoln Memorial. Yeah, and there's a little Quaker there. There's some stars, and there's smoke coming out of the cabin there. Those are the tree here. Yeah. So anyway, it's fun. It's a nice little pattern, and I really like that quote. This uses Cottage Garden, Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, and Weeks colors, and some DMC also. And this uses a lot. They're all Classic Colorworks colors. There's also a DMC conversion of that, and so. While I was at the attic, I thought, well, I'll get threads for various things, for Quilted Poinsettias, for Sam Liberty, and then of course when I saw the Abraham Lincoln pattern, I went ahead and got those threads as well. There were a couple, maybe three, I think, that they didn't have there at the attic. That, as a matter of fact, I guess I could have asked for them because they had. They had a box of threads that had just come in that hadn't been sorted and put on the things yet. And so maybe the ones I didn't get were in that box as well. But the reason I knew about the box was because what I had intended to get for sure was just this strand of grits, right? Because when I was working on the owl, on the barn owl, it uses the white it uses is grits, and I was getting low on that skein, and I thought, I don't have another skein apparently of grits, and it's used pretty often in several patterns and whatever. So I thought, well, I should go ahead and get another skein of grits because I'm running low on it. And I had ordered some stuff from Nashville, more on that later, and I had intended to go ahead and include a skein of grits in all my Nashville, whatever I ordered for Nashville. But then I forgot completely. But then Eve asked, hey, I'm going to go to, want to go this weekend to the attic. And so I thought, okay, I'll get grits then. So this is what I went into the attic for. And I ended up with that one pattern. And, of course, a bunch of other stuff. So, like I said, I got threads for those three patterns: the Quilted Poinsettia, Salmon Liberty, and Stand Firm. So I got a bunch of weeks colors, and so when I went to look for grits, well, I'll tell that story in a minute. So I got all these weeks colors. Oopsie. So, like I said, I want to do a floss toss for that Quilted Poinsettia and for to see which fabric I want to do. And I'll probably use that same pile of fabrics to choose from for Stand Firm and Salmon Liberty. So these are Weeks colors that I got. And these are the Gentle Arts colors that I got. It's a very pretty, like light green here, and darker green, and a blue here. So that's the Gentle Arts colors. And then I got a bunch of Classic Colorworks colors. And these were the ones that were, there were three that I couldn't get: Bamboo, Trail Dust, and Eggshell. But I think I might have those. Trail Dust I'm not sure about. Bamboo and Eggshell I think I have. But anyway, so yeah, these are those colors. For these I know for sure are used in the stitching with the Housewives color. Because they tend to use Classic Colorworks. Yeah. So anyway, I got all those threads. And the thing about grits, when I went to look for it, there at the attic, somebody had put the wrong color on the grits peg. So I was looking at, and the grits peg, the G's were down toward the bottom. So I was like bent over, and I couldn't see very well because it was, it was kind of darkish down there at the bottom, and for where I was standing. And so on the peg, the first one I looked at was apparently mishung, right? Because I was in the G's looking for grits, and I saw cognac, which begins with a C, obviously, Cognac. So I looked at it and I thought, well, that's wrong. So I thought maybe somebody had, because it was down, close to the floor, I thought maybe somebody had dropped the cognac skein, and somebody else had just stuck it on the peg there. So I looked, and all of the threads on that peg were cognac. They were all wrong, and there was a whole bunch of them, the whole peg, and they were all wrong. And so, being the kind of person that I am, I pulled them all off. I'm the kind of person that if I go to the store and something is in the wrong place, I'll stick it in the wrong place sometimes. But so I went to look kind of in the latter half of the thing peg to see if there were grits back there behind the cognac ones that were mishung, and they weren't. So I just pulled them all off because I thought, well, if somebody else is looking for this color, they're not going to look down here. They're going to look up there in the C's where it belongs. And sure enough, there was a peg up there for cognac, and it was empty. And so I put them all up there. But then I looked around to see if the grits skeins, if any of them had been, mishung, whatever, and they weren't there. So I thought, okay, they're out of it. They're sold out. And and sometimes you'll see like a box of threads there in the back where they're sorting them and preparing to hang them. And so I looked back there and there weren't any there. So I thought, okay, they're out of them. And so when I was, so I eventually, went up to the front and I was checking out, and they asked, oh, did you find everything you needed? And I said, well, I looked for grits and there weren't any. I said, you know, and she said, oh, well, we just got a box in. I think they had some threads that were for something they were kitting up, but she was looking at it in the box, and sure enough, there was a bunch of grits there. So they gave me that skein of grits. So yay! I got what I came for. That's the one I came for. But anyway, so I ended up with a bunch of threads. I spent a lot of money there at the attic. And speaking of spending a lot of money, I ordered things for Nashville. So of course they're doing the Stitch the Rainbow, going on with that series. And this, for Nashville, the theme is Beneath the Waves, I think is what it's called. Something ocean oriented. I think it's Beneath the Waves. Is that right? Yeah. Either Under the Sea or Beneath the Waves or something like that. Anyway, it's ocean related. Um, so there's a thread pack of Cottage Garden threads, um, the four colors that designers, there's several designers who are participating in the Beneath the Waves thing, and so they all use those four threads to design something and to follow the theme, right? And they're of a certain size. So so there's lots and lots that are very very gorgeous little cute little patterns. But so I had made a long list of all the things I wanted, and then like I said, okay, eliminate so I can put it to keep it to a reasonable amount. Um, so I ordered by Tiny Modernist. She has a pattern called Midnight Ocean. There's one I cannot think of who the designer is, called Deep Sea Dumbo, and it's an octopus, a certain type of octopus. It's kind of purplish. Um, and then, so those two I was going to get for sure. And then somebody, and I didn't write down the name of the designer on this piece of paper that I'm looking at. Um, she came up with a design called Jam and the Jellies, and it's a Midnight Ocean is like a bunch of sea creatures. Um, Deep Sea Dumbo is that octopus, and Jam and the Jellies is a cat inside a little one of those little mini subs. So there's the mini sub, and there's a window, and there's a cat face in the window, and then there's a bunch of jellyfish all around the sub. Jam and the Jellies. Um, and there's one that I might add to my order called Sea Turtle Cove, which was by, shoot, somebody else. But Sea Turtle Cove was one that just came out this past weekend, yesterday, I think. Was Lindy Stitches has been doing several videos about their Nashville uh, needle needlework market releases, because as she gets like emails from designers, she's put together these videos, and so Sea Turtle Cove was one that she got more recently. And so I think yesterday, Friday, she did another video. I think her fourth video for Nashville releases. So Sea Turtle Cove is on that one, so I might add that to my order. Um, I know Primrose Cottage Stitches did some sort of sea beach related, more like beach related patterns for Nashville that are not part of the Beneath the Waves series. They're just all beach related. Um, some really gorgeous things. She did a Quaker um, with there's a sea turtle and a bunch of other nautical things. Like I said, it's not part of the Beneath Waves thing. It doesn't use those same uh, colors. They're more like sort of aquas and other summery, beachy colors. But they're gorgeous. All of her the designs for this series are gorgeous. Um, there's one called something like something wishes and salty kisses. That's really cute. And then, like I said, several other ones. Uh, but so yeah, I really like those. But I'm probably not going to pre-order them just because, like I said, I'm trying to limit my list. But the Sea Turtle Cove, I'll probably add to the list. And then my sister Eve is getting a few other things that she ordered. There's another octopus that's out there, and there's a couple of seahorse patterns that she ordered. One of is like a red seahorse. I think it's called Bubble Seahorse or something like that. And the other one is called um, something about anchors because it's all the seahorses with their tails, anchored on the little seaweed. It's really cute. So fortunately, she's getting those because otherwise I'd be very tempted to get it. So, but the other thing I did order from Top Knot Stitcher is a pufferfish needle minder and a nautilus shell thread drop thing with like four holes for the threads for the four threads of the floss pack. And then I also got a sticker. They have little stickers like you could put on your water bottle or whatever. That is has a Stitch the Rainbow kind of theme on there, whatever. So that's that. Yeah, I'm getting that. So like I said, I might add Sea Turtle Cove, and of course I'm getting the floss back, the cottage garden threads. So yeah, so I think I've hit my limit basically. You know, so um, Nashville is in March, I think March 6th through 8th or something like that. So right now, a lot of the online shops are taking pre-orders, and most of them, I think almost all of them, if you add something to your order, if place an order and then you think, oh yeah, I want to add this, I want to add that, they'll combine it so you have only one shipping charge. And I know that on like Lindy Stitches, I think if you hit a certain amount, you get free shipping. Um, so yeah, so find your favorite online shop, and order from there, and yeah, enjoy that. And like I said, there's the Beneath the Waves Stitch the Rainbow thing, and then there's all kinds of other new patterns. There's just just all kinds of gorgeous things. But I'm trying to limit myself as much as possible because all of these designs that are coming out at market are going to be available later. But it's just the fun and excitement of pre-ordering and all of that, and getting them as soon as possible. So that's part of the enticement of Nashville. But like I said, that uh, I'm not doing anything as limiting as some people are, like because I have plenty of stash. I have more stash, more patterns than I could possibly stitch. Um, the what is it, Sable uh, stitching acquired beyond life expectancy or something like that. And yeah, so I'm certainly there. Um, if I stitched 24 hours a day for the rest of my life, I don't think I could possibly finish all the projects that I have. But but yeah. So as a matter of fact, the other day I was looking at my computer, And at one point, I had listed, and this was, I guess, before we packed everything up for getting ready to move. I had gone through and listed, all my whips, all my unstarted patterns, and all that. Um, and I just, I don't even know how many there are, hundreds on this list. And so some of them, of course, I've finished since I made that list. Um, but I've also acquired more patterns since I made that list. And as a matter of fact, I was sort of going through um, patterns that I had put on Threadkeeper, and um, and then comparing that with what I had on the list of the Excel list on my computer, and yeah, I have a lot. I think I talked about this before a couple weeks ago, a few weeks ago, but so yeah, so I'm still not like like some people have put. I think on Pam and Steph, I think Pam has said she's not buying any more patterns and until a certain time because she has like I do. She's got lots and lots and lots of patterns, and so she's trying to put a moratorium on buying new patterns, and I probably should, but I'm not going to. And I don't know. All the ones I have, like I have a whole bunch of stitching with the Housewives patterns, and I may or may not stitch them. As I look at them, later on, I might decide, oh well, I don't want to stitch this or I don't want to stitch that. Not just stitching with the Housewives, but all kinds of patterns that I have. I may decide, yeah, I'm not going to do that. But I have them for a reason. I like them for a reason. So yeah, But right now, I have enough whips that'll probably take me forever to finish. So um, I'm working on it. That's one reason why I do WIPGO, because that forces me to concentrate on the whips that I have. And if I had things out of storage, I could do more of that. Right now, I'm working on the ones I have handy. Like that's why I'm working on the Year in the Woods set. But WIPGO, one thing WIPGO does is it helps me just keep on working on those whips because I don't have to make that decision. WIPGO makes it for me, and like that takes one more sort of not burden exactly, but the decision making process out of my hands, so I don't have to like say, well, I could do this, but I could do that. I don't have to spend the time making that decision. Yeah, so it's helping me. WIPGO is really helping me, finish things, get things done. So yeah, so I'm happy to keep working on that. And when I eventually get my things out of storage, I'll go back to my older WIPGO whips and keep working on those. So yeah, so I'm actually looking forward to that. I keep saying that and I keep not doing it, but it's part of it is not up to me. It's up to my nephew, because um, some of the things that are in storage are heavier pieces of furniture that he would need to take out for us, and he's very busy. So it's hard to sort of find time to say, hey, come go and unload the storage unit or whatever. And he also would probably need to be able to corral some of his friends to help him with some of the heavier things. Like there's several pieces of heavier furniture or whatever in there. So anyway, that's all up in the air. But in the meantime, I'm I'm working on the things I have and the new starts that I have and all that. So anyway, so that's all I have to talk about right now. Um, I have to make the decision about the quilted poinsettias because that's my next thing I want to work on, that and my diamond painting. But like I said, I have I'm hoping to finish the barn owl. Today is the sixth day. Yeah, sixth day, and tomorrow is the seventh day. That's my goal. Um, so between today and tomorrow, I think I should be able to finish the barn owl. That's what I'm aiming for, and we'll see how everything else goes. So if you have I was going to say, if you've got a preference about these fabrics for quilted poinsettias, or for the other things, like I said, there's these this beige, there's a this beige and this sort of uh, rosy beige color for any of those three patterns, um, and then all the other there's these two sort of neutrals, a beige and an off-white kind of neutral, and then these three sort of bluish colors, blue and blue green and whatever. So, like I said, I want to do a floss toss, but if you have a strong preference, go ahead and let me know. If you think, it might look good on that. I'm leaning toward the blues. My sister had suggested this brighter blue, but I'm kind of thinking about these other two other lighter blues. Like I said, it kind of depends on the floss toss, but we'll see. Anyway, so I will keep working on that, and I will let you know next week how that's coming and where we are in relation to all of that and what I decide about that. So, in the meantime, thanks for watching. Have a happy Valentine's Day. Hope your weather is getting better. Although we are supposed to have 6 more weeks of winter since the groundhog apparently saw his shadow. Um, I've seen a couple of memes posted, like pictures of a saguaro cactus or something, and the captions say something like, you know, the saguaro saw his shadow, so we'll have 52 more weeks of sunshine or something like that. So yeah. Uh, anyway, I will see you again next week, and in the meantime, thanks for watching. Thanks. Bye.